Hey everybody, Pat Shaw here with the Combat Chain along with Adam Philipchuk, and we are streaming the top 8 game between Evan McGrew and Unusual Thunder. Uh, Here we have Evan on Phi with Unusual Thunder on Lexi, and it is already off to a fiery start with Lexi getting the 3 of a kind and firing an arrow for 5 to Evan. Adam, how are you doing today?
Doing great, Pat. Great to be here. Great to be in the booth. Super excited to be streaming this match. We've got looks like Evan on Phi versus um, Lexi on or Thunder on Lexi, and
Yep.
opening with a three of a kind. Like that's a spicy way to start it off right away. What do you think of this? Do you think that's what Lexi's game plan is, just to like open up hot and heavy and just like try to get the race going right away? Or do you think in this match, Lexi needs to set up to bigger turns?
I think this is going to be an uphill battle all day for Phi. Lexi provides a unique amount of disruption that Phi just has a lot of trouble to block. So as long as she's bringing the pressure and getting on hits and causing Phi trouble, I think this is going to be Lexi's game to lose. And an aggressive start with a 3 of a kind is exactly the way to do that. She does need to worry about potential bricking, but uh, typically not much of a problem for Lexi these days with how they're being built.
Yeah, and I mean, seeing that not only the three of a kind, but seeing the Blizzard Bolt right off the bat too, that's a huge way to start that pressure. The Blizzard Bolt providing the on hit for the rest of the combat chain of anytime something deal. Is it hits or deals damage? That one I can't remember. I believe it's deals damage. Threatens a
I believe
frostbite,
you are correct.
which
But
in
we
this,
did see
yep,
the uh, the action is moving very fast. So we did see the Bolton shot get the buff to 4, getting blocked by the sink below in reactions. And speaking of coming in fast and heavy, we have the Frost Lock coming in uh, for 5. So this is exactly what I'm talking about with Phi's uphill battle here. It's tough to block. Uh, Luckily not dominated. 5 blocks with a flying kick and a 2-block attack.
yeah, and we see Evan recognizing that he's not going to be able to probably have a turn. He's better off dumping his hand, preserving his life total, arsenaling a key card, and uh, just waiting for a future turn. And I think that's part of the strategy. And you're playing into a Lexi like this. We are seeing a rise of Lexis that want to control the game a little bit. You really have to pick your opportunities and wait till they have an off turn, and that's when you clap back. So I think very smart on Evan's part to hold or preserve the life total and just kind of wait till Thunder has an off turn. Going back into Thunder's turn here, Thunder activating Lexi, revealing the Weave Ice, and threatening a Frostbite already.
Yeah, dangerous stuff for Phi, right? Phi thrives on efficient attacks, and that Frostbite is exactly what he does not want to see. And there you see her putting the Bolton shot into the second Arsenal slot, Weave Ice coming through.
Yeah, and no, unfortunately, no ability to fuse that Bolton shot, so no dominate on this attack. But I believe Weave Ice is still applying the buff. If that's a red Weave Ice, that's +3, which will give the Bolton shot the go again if it didn't already have it.
And looks like it's coming through. Bolton shot for 5.
Yeah,
Evan doing our favorite thing, thinking long and hard about his move here.
my apologies. Weave Ice will only buff the next Ice or Elemental action card. So Bolton Shot, this being a red Bolton Shot, gets +1 off of Voltaire, and that's what's making it come in for 5. But still giving it the go again. Weave Ice still checking on the chain for the next Ice or Elemental card to get played. So that kind of an ominous foreshadowing of what might be to come. I see we got Oscar Gomez in the chat. Oscar, how's it going, my friend?
This says the
Telling us,
volume's a bit low on our
I'm
end.
just turning up the volume here.
Turning it up here on the combat chain.
Good thing the dials go to 11.
And there's the Furnace and a Burnaway, which is a 3-block spicy card coming from Phi, unfortunately being used on the defense.
Yeah, Burnaway is an interesting one because you see it early in the game. You've only got one Phoenix Flame in the graveyard. You don't necessarily want to use its May ability, banish the Phoenix Flame for +2 and go again. But if you have it in the late game, that extra +2 and go again can be so devastating.
Absolutely. And we're seeing just more and more of these disruptive arrows coming by. A Chilling Ice Vein following that Bolton shot. This one, I don't believe it was fused, but it is coming in for 5. If it was, they have to discard a card here if on hit.
Yeah, and it should be, this one should be getting the buff off the Weave Ice now.
That is correct.
Which, if that's a red Weave Ice, would be for +3. Unfortunately, this isn't TTS, so we don't have any ability to zoom in on the feed at all.
And we do see the, I believe he took that right to the face.
Down to 26.
Yeah, and very quickly, right? Lexi's still at 40. Phi coming in with the Art of War, though. Paying 2, taking care of the Frostbite. Let's see what they follow up with here. They got 1 float. We
Banishing a
see a
brand.
banish, yeah, to presumably draw 2. Typical here is to give your attacks +1 and to banish to draw 2.
And then I imagine choosing +1 otherwise. So Evan trying to set up a big turn here, trying to pivot a little bit.
Yeah, at the very least, right? This is a stay in the game turn for Phi. Lexi is really stomped on the gas pedal here. This needs to produce some good damage here to keep it even.
So, and then on that, ooh, the
Oh,
second Art of
the
War.
second Art of War. It's good, but it's not great. You really don't like to see that. It does seem like he probably drew into that, had to think real hard about what to do. So now I think he would have a 3-card hand at this point to play with. And there's the Ronin Renegade, assuming he did the same banish and +1. So this should be coming in for 5 go again.
And yeah, we see Thunder, no, doesn't even hesitate, takes that hit, goes down to 35. And I think at this point, Evan needs to force a card from hand, is probably what he needs to do. Do you think Evan's got some big hit trigger in his hand, or do you think he's just trying to force damage?
I think this is primarily damage. I was actually able to get a few games in with Evan last night, and he did in fact take 2 games on me playing this list. But it is very much a damage centric classic draconic deck here. We see the Emberblade coming in for 3. If this hits, the next hit will be threatening Mask of Momentum, and that is basically the extent of the on hits in his deck. He does like to use that mask trigger to force those blocks, and if this comes through, he will be threatening a large attack with a solid break point, unless he gets the Phoenix Flame instead, right? I think if he's got anything in his hand that goes up north of 4. He should be running it right now for his third. And we see the block. There's the third
Throwing
block, so
Tunic
no
at this
mask.
already.
Yeah, stopping that mask momentum trigger solely on equipment. So now it makes perfect sense for Evan to grab that Phoenix Flame. That's coming in for 3 and a energy pot to wrap it up. 2 Art of Wars and an energy pot in the same turn. It's gotta feel bad. He does like those energy pots to help supplement his turns, but especially on those Art of Wars, I think you really want to see an attack and damage pump through. So Lexi starts her turn now, up 32 to 26 with a 5-card hand. Got a card in Arsenal, reveals the ice card. I believe that is
That's a
the ice
Blizzard
card.
Bolt. That would be Elemental.
An elemental arrow card.
So Thunder just doing this to open up an Arsenal slot.
I believe that is an Ice Quake. Or a Polar Blast. That is a card that plays in Lexi's deck. And we see the Bolton shot get put into Arsenal. A lot of things happening. Coming in for, I believe, 8 is the number indicated on the dice here.
Yeah, if that's a red Ice Quake, that'll be given +3. And Ice Quake Ice Quake is, yeah, Ice Quake's +3. Can't make out if that's an Ice Quake or a Polar Blast. I'm referencing the art here on my phone, but I think even with that, yes, that is an Ice Quake. So red Ice Quake would be +3.
We are getting there. Great news.
And threatening a frostbite on a hit as well. So Evan, his turn to think long and hard about how he wants to deal with this. I imagine the 8 isn't so much his concern. It's the frostbite on hit. And of note, the Bolton shot does threaten the reload on hit, but with the Blizzard Bolt in Arsenal, reload is not currently relevant. So this is purely, I think it comes down to, can Evan afford to deal with the frostbites? Does his turn have the resources he needs and the gumption he needs to kind of keep pushing?
Gumption in spades here. This is the Instant Speed Challenge top 8 a match. The Instant Speed Challenge was a month-long league hosted by the Instant Speed podcast on their Discord that had, I believe, the total number was 54 players in the tournament coming from all walks of life. People like Tommy Fresh of Fresh and Buds, Logan Peterson, myself. We had Flake involved, DM Armada participated, Travis McDaniel, friend of the channel, Breezy, friend of the channel, and countless others playing all month long to get into the top 8 here. The finals themselves will be cast by Instant Speed, but we do thank Matt and the crew over at Instant Speed for letting us capture the top 8 here for them.
Yeah, 100%. Huge thanks to them. And we see Evan taking the hit on the Bolton shot. So the frostbite gets generated. Evan's down to 18. And Thunder following that up with the Blizzard Bolt. It looks like the Blizzard Bolt's fused. So another 5 threatening 2 more frostbites.
Lexi is just so dangerous. She has no equipment left other than New Horizons. And there are 3 frostbites, it looks like, on the table here. Which means Evan is grabbing his E-Pot, but he would have to pay 3 to break that at the moment. So he really has, he's really in a tough spot here. Does he have a 0 cost? Does he have a 0 cost in hand that he can pitch a blue 2 to break through and continue his turn? That is the question at hand. If he doesn't, this turn becomes very, very stifled.
And we see Evan kind of taking pause here. I wonder if he's actually calling for a judge or something just to get a little bit of clarification on a rule.
That is a good question.
Looking back at his hand, though, so he's still going into the tank here despite that, trying to figure out what his play is. 3 frostbites is a lot for Fi to deal with. If he's got a blue in hand, you can pitch the blue and start off with a 0 cost, but sometimes your blue is also, your Ronin Renegade or something like that, and that's your chain starter. So,
Oof. And we see the snatch coming through. So the frostbites are so he plays a red snatch and pitches 3 reds to it. So that is a 0 cost. He's paid 3 frostbites. He does threaten an on hit. It looks like she's taking it. He reacts with Snapdragon Scalers to give it go again and gets the draw from there. So now he's back into an okay spot. He's still really on his back heels. He does not have a draconic attack yet. It would be really helpful for him, I think, to have a follow-up here be a draconic attack of some sort.
and he's just
But
going
it
to
does look like,
Arsenal.
yeah, next best thing, clear out those frostbites and then Arsenal, get yourself set up for your big turn. You have the energy pot there. He's got to start thinking about utilizing his armor to try and pivot one more. I think this turn coming up might be his last best chance here to stay in the game.
Yeah, at 13 life, he's still some wiggle room, but not much left. We see Thunder at the start of their turn, activating Lexi, revealing a cold snap. So that's going to give a frostbite to Evan. And that gives Thunder the ability to threaten freezing the Arsenal and drawing a card as well. So Evan's got to now decide how valuable his Arsenal is to him on this next turn.
A recent addition from Uprising, seeing play in Lexi, and we do love cards played from Arsenal drawing a card replacing itself, and that's what you see here. Freezing the Arsenal is especially dangerous right now. For Evan to continue to have a turn, really. So it does look like it is frozen. Lexi activating Voltaire second time, shooting in with the arrow, coming in for, I believe this would be for 4.
Yeah, this should be 4 go again. Fusing there as well, so threatening the frostbite. And it looks like, for 5. So the Blizzard Bolt
for 5. Getting the +1 from Voltaire. There's armor, there's Shuko, there's mask, and furnace for 5. Lexi pitches, activates Voltaire. Frostlock into Arsenal. Oof. Frostlock for 5.
And
that's a backbreaker.
Yeah, my apologies to our listeners. The Blizzard Bolt is base 5. So that would be why it's 5 go again, and then giving +1 on the Frostlock, and that's where that one comes in for 5 again. You can tell our Ranger knowledge isn't quite up to snuff with our Runeblade knowledge, having to reference the cards ourselves.
Lexi shoots arrows.
So this Frostlock fused, once again threatening not only 5 damage, but preventing, if on hit, preventing Evan's ability to pitch, play anything with a 0 cost, which is the majority of his deck. This Frostlock is a huge on hit effect that Evan has to figure out how to deal with now.
Absolutely, for sure. And that's the most backbreaking thing about it is that Evan's deck really depends on the cards that will not be playable if this hits.
Yeah.
Definitely a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of moment here. Seems like the best course here is to block it, and he does,
You see a lava
because he
burst and a
would not
spreading
have
flames.
wouldn't have a turn otherwise. And that's
The
gotta hurt a little bit. Those are your catalyst cards, right? That's your starter and your finisher going, for the sake of your life at this point. So you still have the ability to play some cards, and we see a Ronin Renegade come in, paying through the Frostbite. I believe that is a blue float too, over on the for pitching the Lava Vein loyalty, coming in with the Ronin Renegade for 3. Still has an opportunity here to attack with Ember Blade, and we'll see if he tries to follow up with something. But I doubt we'll see an Epot bust for a Phoenix Flame.
Yeah, I imagine, the energy potion for the Phoenix Flame just doesn't make sense. Giving up 2 resources just to threaten 1 is not the best value. I think it's quite unfortunate that for Evan that his arsenal is frozen at this point, though, because that's probably what he would be looking to lean on to really try to turn the tides here.
Absolutely, and we see Lexi taking 3, no one-hit weapon damage, plenty of room to work with here. Lexi up 22-13. Arsenal does become unfrozen here, but we do see an icy encounter flipped for Lexi, so Frostbite. It can be it can be really frustrating to face Lexi when they're doing this, getting the ice card in the arsenal, flipping it, always having to deal with the Frostbite, and then threatening even more Frostbites that you know are coming with various on hits. There's a Winter's Bite, a discard or pay. You're already losing a card from hand. Lexi does prey on these aggressive decks that don't block well, and we're seeing that right now.
We see a Voltaire activation, loading in a Bolton shot, so I assume we're choosing +1 here. Yeah, 4 go again. On hit, not relevant once again, but still, 4 when you're at 13 is, knowing there's an icy encounter in the arsenal still, this is a tough position for Evan to be in, for sure.
As you said, the on hit's less relevant. I mean, depending on what he's got in his hand, it's probably best to take this. I believe the icy encounter does have an on hit. Lexi still has a card in hand as well, so we can expect an additional Voltaire activation. But there's the icy encounter coming in instead.
So icy encounter for 4, threatening a frostbite on hit.
I'm willing to bet that that is an ice card that they will arsenal in their hand that they did not play. We see a couple belittles and a double strike, a bunch of 2 blocks. The other downside of the aggressive deck being on the back foot, inefficient blocking. So we do see 2 frostbites being put onto Fi's board here. And I believe that was a draw pass. So we're right back at it with Lexi revealing the Endless Arrow. A Weave Ice to load it up.
Ooh, 3 of a
kind. Oh no. This is
Not
just like one of those nightmares where you can't move fast enough, right? You're just running in slow motion, and there's just a evil ranger shooting arrows at you, and you just cannot stop it from happening.
What's that Simpsons meme? The stop, he's already dead.
Yes, we're sorry, Evan, but this is rough stuff. happening here. We do see here's a Frostlock coming in for 7.
Fusing with the Arctic Incarceration.
Another brutal card in the new edition from Uprising to the Ice Arsenal.
Yeah, so this is 7, go again, and I believe there's a Dominate on this as well. Oh, there it is, yeah.
There it is. Thank you, Unusual Thunder. It is dominated.
And Evan's got no equipment blocks yet, so this is going to hit. I think for Evan's sake, it's just a matter of trying to figure out, can he still have a turn?
Yeah, that is a very good question. I believe Frostlock is restricted to 0 cost, so if he had a Mounting Anger or something of the sort, he would be able to break the E-Pot and at least do Mounting Anger into Ember Blade and maybe something else. It depends on what he's got, but he's really reaching for straws here. 7 Dominate while you're at 11. No equipment. Unless that is a sink in Arsenal, which we already saw one sink, so it is possible that it's there. But rough place for the 5 to be, I think, is what we're really trying to establish here.
I mean, Evan's not out of it yet. All he needs is, if he can stop the bleeding, all he needs is one big turn with Thunder drawing or having an off turn, and he can very well get right back into this.
100%. That is the caveat when playing Lexi, is that this is all great, but if they brick, it's a pivot right there. And we've seen it happen in the biggest stages. We are seeing a defensive application of Art of War. I wonder what he's going to choose. I'm willing to bet he's doing +1 and probably using a card from Arsenal to defend. And that is a 4 block.
Yeah, Lava Burst blocking for 4.
So the on hit from Frostlock still happens, but taking less damage on the way.
And I wonder
Thunder pitch.
I wonder if Evan's just trying to maybe sculpt his hand a little bit in parts with that Art of War, get rid of the 0 costs.
Bolton shot for 5, getting loaded by Voltaire, and a 3 block coming from Ronin Renegade, getting the buff from Art of War. I think he tried to draw into cards that blocked whatever he can get. And there's the Endless Arrow now coming in for 4. This is another 3 block, so This will return to hand. It'll take 1. Go down to 5.
Oh, he scooped up the energy potion there.
Oh, he did.
So we see Evan just passing to the end of his turn, drawing back up. Thunder's in full control of this game at this point. This is very much a rough situation for Evan, unfortunately.
Alexi is one of 5's worst matchups, and we're seeing why. It just Ranger does prey on 5, and we're seeing it in action. And Fi does good work against the field. This is just a particular low light form, and we're seeing Arctic Incarceration being shown. There's a Frostbite. Depending on the pitch value, that if Flexi plays that, we're going to see 1, 2, or 3 Frostbites in addition. Bolton shot. Ooh.
Bolton shot, that was when Ranger got Bolton shot, that was such a good addition for them. That Bolton shot puts in work.
And there's 2 blocks blocking for 2 Blaze Headlongs.
There's that endless arrow again, that pesky endless arrow.
And I have to believe that he is feeling a lot like Angel in Fight Club while Tyler Durden, the narrator, was mounted on top of him, punching him repeatedly. It is just kind of a bloody mess a little bit.
I thought we're not supposed to talk about Fight Club.
Oh, you got me. You got me.
So we see another turn cycle.
Spoiler alert, by the way.
Evan drawing up, passing the end of his turn. Thunder starting off, revealing Lexi activation, revealing the Weave Ice. So another Frostbite for Evan.
Still has the incarceration accessible there, so one of those are coming out. And there's the icy encounter.
Or the Weave Ice.
Or the Weave Ice, I'm sorry. I actually got excited thinking that was a icy encounter for a second.
And there's the
Weave
Ice
Ice
Quake.
into Ice Quake. Oh, then this might hurt a little bit.
+3/+3. If Thunder's got the fusion here. Oh, a Winter's Grasp. So no fusion, no dominate.
Is coming in for 10. A nice round number 10. That's 3, 6, and 10.
That's a
3
full
blocks,
block.
4 blocks. Yep, 2 blocks rather for 4. New Horizon putting in a ton of work in this game, allowing that extra arsenal slot. Just a constant threat of that frostbite token in multiples this entire game. And we see the cold snap, another frostbite. See the pitch, play the cold snap, draw a card, freeze the arsenal.
Yeah, and I think Evan's at that point. He can't afford to pay for that arsenal. He's got to try to find a way to pivot without it, unfortunately.
And
Oh,
it's
he is going to
unfortunate.
pay.
Oh, he does. Oh, he pays with the Phoenix Flame. That's smart. At least
That
it
makes
gets it out of
sense.
your hand.
Yeah.
There's the Ice Fiend coming in. Showing another incarceration. What's unfortunate here is that we talked about the possibility of Lexi bricking to kind of save his turn here, but those incarcerations kind of guarantee that even if Lexi were to brick, they can prevent 5 from having a turn.
Yeah.
By just dousing them with frostbite tokens. We see the Rain Razor pitch to activate Voltaire. Arrows loaded up.
And we're going to come in with that Blizzard Bolt. Fused again.
Fused with the incarceration coming in for 4. And he's got 1 card in hand, taking 1. It is a Lava Vein. So there was a 5 block followed by a 3 block. So we do know that there is, right, we got the incarceration in Arsenal. There is the incarceration in hand.
Yeah, and we haven't seen any Arctic incarcerations get played yet either. So depending what Thunder's running for numbers on those non-attack actions, there is a possibility that Thunder does draw into a brick hand here. Evan going to 1 though.
And there we see it. There's the Arctic incarceration played, going to 5 frostbites, preventing any turn from materializing. Evan going right to the draw. We do know that is in Arctic incarceration in Arsenal as well. Fi at 1, Lexi at 22. Showing the incarceration, getting the frostbite token.
And Evan drawing back up, passing it right back over to Thunder again. See,
Yes, we have. Yes, and she has revealed the Arctic incarceration to get the frostbite, and now she has loaded the arrow and fired the ice vein fused, coming in for 5. There's a 3 block and a 2 block. There's 5 block. And an incarceration. So, kind of a brick, but we talked about the resiliency here. That's 4 frostbite tokens here. So even if Fi were to have something productive, they can't play it now. You gotta wait for those frostbites to go.
And Evan just
And I
drawing
think this
right
is
back up.
yeah, this is got to be a form of frostbite lock here. We do know that there's incarceration just available, so that there was 2, I believe, just the 1 arrow come through for the it was blocked out, but again, turn prevented. All he can do is draw up and wait for the next deluge of arrows to come right to his face.
I think Thunder is trying to figure out what the next play here is. Everybody, we see players counting their decks, trying to figure out where we're at in the game state. Is fatigue a possibility? Probably with the 1 life left, not likely, but it's got to be running through both players' minds right now.
Yeah, it is both decks getting thin. Lexi has visually more cards than Fi here, so but it does. Lexi is pre-resource hungry and requires a lot of cards being played. If they're underwhelming in damage output, you could see a scenario here where she's burning through more cards than him, and hey, crazier things have happened.
So we see the pitch. 3 of a kind.
3 of a kind. That is the 3rd one this game. She started with one. I believe she played one a couple turns ago, and here comes the next one. I bet a lot of that counting there was seeing how many non-attacks versus attacks in Art of War. Reminiscent of Yuki Lee Bender in Pro Tour New Jersey, just obliterating people with Arts of War and 3 of a kinds for massive turns. Evan has no equipment, 4 cards to block with. If Unusual Thunder has any hand at all, this should be the game. So we see Voltaire activated, the arrow loaded up.
Is that a yellow Blizzard Bolt, I believe?
I believe so. We see the pitch to float coming in fused with an Ice Quake for 5. So we do see there's a lot of cards that were just pitched and used that weren't arrows. So there is that Blizzard Bolt coming in for 5, which isn't. This still needs to be a 2-card block, but oh no, it's a 3. So if there's one more arrow to come through, this is it. And she activates Voltaire.
Loads in the endless arrow.
Oh. No, Evan really needed that to be. He needed a 3 block in hand. And he had the sink. No, he's at 1.
Yeah, so that's game.
Nope, that 3 block was that 3-card block was backbreaking. Could have survived if he had a 3 block in hand. But them's the breaks sometimes.
So there we have it.
So, yeah, we have the match completed. Unusual Thunder moving on into the top 4, piloting Lexi. Evan showing a lot of moxie, with Fi getting to the top 8. Was the higher seed going in, and we trek on. It was a great match, and And yeah, thanks for joining us here on the Combat Chain for the live stream of the Top 8 Instant Speed Challenge. We should be around. We are coordinating the games as they come, and so we will be providing you the coverage as we can get it. Thanks for joining us, Adam.
Thanks so much for watching, and we're looking forward to joining you guys on the next one. So
until next time, we're
we're
closing the
the
combat
combat
chain.
chain.